Growing up a Nintendo fan, there's been plenty of great franchises I've missed out on, such as Spyro, Ratchet & Clank, and even the Rayman series. While all of these games definitely piqued my interest in one way or another, none of them even came close to impacting me in the same way seeing this for the first time did. My first experience with Katamari Damacy was actually on G4 TV's X-Play, where they reviewed the game and emphasized just how bizarre it was. My little brain at the time didn't know what to make of this game. I just knew I had to play it. However, it was a PlayStation exclusive. Over the years, I've heard nothing but praise for this game, with it being considered a cult classic among many. But even though this game would spawn various sequels and spin-offs, none of them ever made their way over to a Nintendo console. So I was just left to wonder how. How can a game with a concept as simple as rolling the world up into a ball garner so much praise? Was it really that much fun? Or was it the quirky aesthetic of the game that granted its cult classic status? I guess I'll never... What the heck was... Finally making its way onto a Nintendo console, it's Katamari Damacy Reroll, which Namco Bandai thought it'd be a great idea to release it on the same day as Smash. I'm sure that'll go down as Decision of the Year. Anyways, let's see what this game's all about. Right away, this game is completely in your face with how weird and quirky it is. And I gotta say, I'm into it. Everything's so bright and colorful with this sense of joy injected into it. I don't know, you tell me what you'd call this. There really isn't anything else quite like it. I'm really curious how anyone could manage to create something with this kind of oh. Yeah, that explains it. So, long story short, Katamari is a game where you were very naughty and destroyed all the stars in the sky during what I assumed to be a raging bender with your dad, the king of all cosmos. Well, it was actually him who wiped out every star, but I think we better take the fall for this one, guys. We're then tasked with cleaning up his mess by using these sticky balls called Katamari, which are used to roll up the entire world to create new stars. After all of that, though, we finally get dropped into the game where we get our first experience with how unusual the controls are. You see, you'd assume this game would control with a single stick, but no. All of your movement is done using both analog sticks at the same time. Initially, this control scheme felt frustrating to me. It gave me the same sensation you get when you try and rub your stomach and pat your head at the same time. It just doesn't feel very natural at first.
Arnie, what are you doing?
Opening up the options screen, however, we'll see that we have the ability to change the controls to either motion or simple controls. Now, motion controls are... yeah, they're a thing. But the simple controls are more in line with how I expected Katamari Damacy to control from the start. You perform basic movement with the left stick and use various buttons to execute more complex moves. On paper, it seems like the better choice. However, once you start using this control scheme, you'll start to notice just how limited it feels. Katamari is a game that requires very precise movement to maneuver your ball around these worlds. And, well, the simple controls just don't give you the precision you need in a game like this. Because of this, I actually found myself becoming more frustrated with the simple controls. This game just wasn't designed to be played like this, so your best option is definitely the default. While I was initially put off by the controls, Katamari is thankfully structured in such a way that allows you to get familiar with these controls at a pace that never feels too overwhelming. You see, each stage has a specific goal for you to accomplish, such as creating a Katamari with a specific diameter or rolling up a certain number of objects. These goals start small and ramp up as you progress, and as these requirements ramp up in complexity, so do your skills as a player. By the end of the game, the controls started to feel completely natural to me, and I entered this almost zen-like state. This game can be extremely relaxing and addicting once you get a grip on how everything works. Regardless, although the controls did eventually become less of a frustration for me, I can't really say the same regarding other quirks this game has. For example, Katamari Damacy has a rule that you can only roll up objects that are smaller than your Katamari. This is fair since it wouldn't really make sense if you could immediately roll up an entire person. Yeah, forgot to mention you can roll up people. It's kind of brutal if you think about it. I don't like thinking about it. The problem, however, is that the game doesn't always make it clear what you can and can't roll up. I came across multiple situations where I'd be rolling towards an object that I expected to be able to pick up, only to crash into it and lose some progress. There's also plenty of instances where you'll get stuck in smaller spaces. This would be fine if the game just kinda teleported you elsewhere once you got stuck, but no, instead the game slowly gets rid of objects you picked up in an effort to make your Katamari small enough to get unstuck. You can only imagine how frustrating this can get, especially if you've just recently made a ton of progress. But at the end of the day, these are all nitpicks that never totally ruined my enjoyment while playing.
Oh, I feel it. I feel the cosmos.
Now, we've all heard the iconic Katamari Damacy theme. While this song deserves all of the praise it's gotten over the years, I feel it's kind of overshadowed the rest of this game's amazing soundtrack. Each track here feels completely unique and adds so much personality to the game. This is without a doubt some of the most unique and fun music I've ever heard in a video game. Katamari's quirky aesthetic honestly wouldn't be nearly as charming if it weren't for this incredible set list. I just have to ask, why is everything so damn loud in this game? There we go. Seriously, it's not just the music, but everything in this game is like cranked to 11. I'm always having to turn down my volume to about 1% whenever I boot up this game. But that's beside the point. With all that said though, I can definitely see where all the praise for this game is coming from. It's a quirky, addicting, and relaxing experience that still has me coming back for more. While it does have its fair share of flaws, I never felt like they detracted too much from the overall experience. Due to its pick up and play nature, Katamari Damacy feels like it's a perfect fit for the Switch. I constantly found myself booting up the game before bed to try and beat my high scores. I can only hope that we'll eventually see the other various sequels ported to the console as well. Who knows, maybe if this game sells well enough, we'll actually get to see that happen. So, you know, you better buy it. But how do you feel about Katamari Damacy? Do you feel like it's as good as everyone says it is? Or do you feel like it's a bit overrated? Let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Also, leave a like on the video and all that stuff that I've said millions of times before and that you're probably sick of hearing. If you're looking for something else to watch, hey, I just did a video on Metroid and I had a lot of fun doing that one and I'd appreciate it if you checked it out. You never know, you might like it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.